Podcast. I'm your host and guide, John Losey, and this is where we explore how we can be present and kind as we do great things. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on the Living Life Juicy podcast, and you can find it on YouTube and also all your favorite podcast platforms. Be sure to check out the Growing People podcast, where we put resources up to help people figure out how individuals grow and communities are formed. And also check out potterypanda.com for my book on intentional growth. The last episode, we talked with Kindra Bostick and the amazing thing she's doing, not only for schools, but also for the industry of education and learning. And Kikori is her company, and it's an app and a platform where people can go and find amazing activities and lesson plans and curriculum about building emotional social competencies in children in the classroom. But if you follow this, you know that I like to turn the tables and allow my guests to interview me. So with that, I want to invite Kendra to ask me 3 questions. So what do you got for me, Kendra?
Perfect. So when I was learning more about your podcast, I had this question to start with, and then saw as I was reviewing that you do have 3 questions. So I had a little bit of think time, but my first question is, what's your goal? And I think I'd love to kind of turn it into the miracle question that Dr. Michael Gass uses. But if it was in the future and you were looking back and you were like, I accomplished exactly what I wanted to do with this podcast, with this work. What do you want to do? What's your big dream?
So on a couple of different levels. First, this podcast is just an excuse for me to learn to be a better listener and question asker, and a great excuse to talk to amazing, wonderful people that I think all of my friends should know. So that's, to me, is if I introduce people through this podcast to somebody they never would have heard from or followed, that's success for this podcast. Now, for me personally, my purpose is to guide people and organizations to their next best step towards growth and sustainability. And so success would be anybody and any organization I come in contact with, they've got clarity and actually took a step or two closer to their picture of success. And the way I do that is I design experiences and I design resources for individuals and organizations for their professional and organizational development. And so that's like what I do. That's my purpose and my mission. So what success looks like, number one, is I can never stop learning. Whatever the last thing that I did, I need to look at something different or something better, because that's how I'm going to continue to grow and take my next best step forward. So success is if I'm looking back when I leave the world, if I look back and I see people have taken steps towards their picture of success, and I include my family in that. If I see my son has clarity on his purpose and mission, if I see our family together, all of us working together towards, our purpose and mission as a family, that to me is the picture of success. If it puts dog food in my pet's bowl, it helps. But ultimately, to me, the measure of success is the sustainability part. It's not about the profit part. It's about doing something that sustains and lives on.
What would be the coolest thing that could happen because of this work that you do?
Coolest thing that could happen, would be if a company or an individual I work with cures cancer, creates world peace, is able to design something that gets all the different aspects of our country talking and collaborating. To me, if there's a huge world, even if it's not known, they're not known for it, but if somebody creates that breakthrough that makes the whole world better, that would be the coolest thing. And I just use cancer as an example because many of us, I have been impacted by cancer in my life. But any big breakthrough thing, whether it's public or private, to me, that would be the coolest thing. And it could be as simple as if a client who wants to write a book publishes a book, that would be really cool.
I love that. Yeah, that was the big question. Okay.
Good one.
Last question. Last question time
for this round, because
it's Friday. If I guess if money was no object, what would you be doing with your day?
Okay. If money was no object, one of the first things that I'd do is I've got on my bucket list, I talked to somebody about this, but I would spend a month in Australia with a couple of weeks scuba diving off the Barrier Reef, and a couple of weeks figuring out or just spending time with Aboriginal culture. So that would be one thing if money was no object, because I think that would inform a lot about what else I do. If money was no object, I would probably still, I would offer free professional development and coaching to every layer of an organization. I got really frustrated because really the only layer of an organization that gets executive coaching is executives. And executive coaching has nothing to do with position. It has to do with the function of your brain, about judgment. And so I would offer free sessions, individual and community-based cohorts, where every person, if you're a part of an organization, you would be wise, if you lead the organization, to offer professional development to all your people, not just technical development. More often than not, your people don't need additional technical expertise. You wouldn't hire them if they needed that. What they really need to be effective and to enhance any organization they're part of are the professional skills, the learning how to develop people, themselves and others, learning emotional social competencies, learning how to build teams, and not team building, but how do you recruit, hire, train, develop, become a really good team member, all those aspects of being a team. And also critical, what I call quality thinking. All of those things are professional development that your people don't get. And it should be part of their onboarding. It should be part of everything. Every year they step in, and that should be part of what they do. And your training budget would be much better spent on those skills. And then you do the targeted technical development when somebody shows that they lack a technical expertise.
What if you incorporated scuba diving into your free professional development training?
Good. It's a good object lesson. And that's, I mean, when I was a scuba instructor, I would okay, this is research. I write this off.
Yeah. But I wonder if there's a way to combine those two worlds, Let's do
a week-long professional development program on a liveaboard scuba trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everybody, if you're watching this, sign up, send me a note that says that you would pay for that. And that's something that you do, because we aren't in a world where money is not an object. So
I just think that could be a really amazing way to go about this training.
It would be. Thank you so much for insightful questions. I learn as much about people from their answers to my questions as I do when they're asking me questions. So thank you for the thoughtfulness that you put into there. And make sure everybody hunt down Kindra and Kikori and find out how they can help you do what you do better. Because I think there is actually, even though I joke around that working with executives is like working with junior hires, I would bet that there's a business application for almost every activity that you have on your platform. So check it out. Thank you for the great questions. And I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you so much.